Right now, a dangerous tropical low is spinning in the Coral Sea and the Bureau of Meteorology is watching it around the clock. If this system intensifies, it could become the first named cyclone of the season, and parts of far north Queensland are directly in its path. But here is the twist most people are missing. This is not just about one storm. A second severe thunderstorm outbreak has already torn through southeast Queensland, dropping 100 millimetres of rain in under 2 hours and producing destructive wind gusts above 90 kilometres per hour. Two major weather threats are colliding at the same time, and if you live anywhere from Cairns to Brisbane, what happens in the next 72 hours could affect you directly. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to break down the exact timing for when these storms hit your city, hour by hour, so you know precisely when to prepare. Before I go any further, let me be clear about something. I am not here to scare you. I am here to give you the facts, the timing, and the exact information you need so you can make smart decisions this week. Knowledge is preparation, and preparation is safety. That is the whole point of what we do here. Now, let me tell you something that caught even experienced forecasters off guard. On Tuesday afternoon, the atmosphere over southeast Queensland exploded. Supercell thunderstorms developed rapidly west of the Great Dividing Range and pushed east toward the coast at speeds exceeding 60 kilometres per hour. These were not your ordinary summer storms. The Bureau of Meteorology issued multiple severe thunderstorm warnings covering an area from Toowoomba through to the Gold Coast, and within minutes, hail the size of golf balls was smashing car windscreens in the Lockyer Valley. One observer near Gatton reported hailstones measuring 5 centimetres in diameter. That is roughly the width of a chicken egg. But here is where it gets more intense, and do not skip ahead because this next part is critical. The same atmospheric setup that triggered those supercells is still in place. A deep upper level trough is sitting over eastern Australia, and it is feeding moisture directly from the Coral Sea into Queensland. This means the severe thunderstorm threat is not over. In fact, the Bureau has flagged Thursday and Friday as the next high-risk days for another round of destructive storms across southeast Queensland. Let me give you the numbers that matter. Sea surface temperatures in the Coral Sea are currently sitting between 29 and 30 degrees Celsius. That is roughly 1 to 1.5 degrees above average for this time of year. Why does that matter? Because warm ocean water is the fuel that powers tropical cyclones. Every half degree above average dramatically increases the potential intensity of any tropical system that forms. And right now, a tropical low is sitting approximately 400 kilometres east of Cairns, pulling energy from those superheated waters. Now, if you are watching from Cairns, Townsville, or anywhere along the North Queensland coast, this is the section you cannot afford to miss. The Bureau of Meteorology has placed a tropical cyclone watch area from Cooktown to Lucinda that covers a stretch of coastline over 300 kilometres long. The tropical low is expected to drift slowly west-southwest over the next 48 hours, bringing it closer to the coast. Computer models are showing a 60% chance of this system reaching tropical cyclone intensity by Friday morning. If that happens, it would be classified as a Category 1 cyclone with sustained winds near 65 kilometres per hour and gusts up to 90 kilometres per hour near the centre. But the wind is not even the biggest concern. The rainfall total being projected are staggering. Forecast models are showing between 150 and 300 millimetres of rain possible across the coastal ranges between Innisfail and Townsville over a 72-hour period from Thursday through Saturday. Some isolated areas in the ranges could see up to 400 millimetres. To put that in perspective, the average February rainfall for Townsville is around 270 millimetres. Some locations could receive an entire month of rain in just 3 days. Now, I promised you city by city timing, and here it is. This is exactly what you need to plan your week. Starting with Cairns, the first rain bands from the tropical low are expected to reach Cairns late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. Rainfall will increase through Thursday afternoon, with the heaviest falls expected Thursday night through Friday morning. Peak wind gusts near Cairns could reach 70 to 85 kilometres per hour by Friday if the system intensifies to cyclone strength. The worst should ease by Saturday afternoon as the system moves inland and weakens. Townsville, rain from the outer bands will begin arriving Thursday afternoon. The heaviest rainfall window is Friday morning through Saturday morning, a roughly 24-hour period where continuous heavy rain is likely. Peak rainfall rates could exceed 30 millimetres per hour during the most intense bursts. Localised flooding is a genuine risk, especially in low-lying suburbs near Ross River and along Bowl River. Conditions should begin improving by Saturday evening, Mackay. You are on the southern edge of the tropical low S influence. Expect increased shower activity from Thursday, becoming heavier on Friday. The heaviest rain is forecast for Friday afternoon through Saturday morning. Totals of 50 to 100 millimetres are expected, with isolated falls up to 150 millimetres possible in the ranges west of Mackay. Winds will be gusty, but unlikely to reach destructive thresholds unless the system tracks further south than currently forecast. Now let me shift to the severe thunderstorm threat across southeast Queensland, because this is the second half of this double weather event that many people are underestimating. Brisbane. Thursday is the day to watch. A prefrontal trough combined with extreme moisture and instability means severe thunderstorms are likely to develop west of Brisbane by early afternoon, pushing into the city between 2 and 5 in the afternoon. The main threats are large hail up to 4 centimetres in diameter, damaging wind gusts above 90 kilometres per hour, and intense short-duration rainfall that could cause flash flooding. Peak storm activity is expected between 3 and 6 in the afternoon. A secondary round of storms is possible on Friday afternoon, though the risk is slightly lower. Gold Coast. Storms that develop over the ranges west of Brisbane typically push southeast toward the Gold Coast by late afternoon. Thursday-esque storms could reach the Gold Coast between 4 and 7 in the evening. If you have outdoor plans for Thursday evening, have a backup ready. Hail and damaging winds are both on the table. Friday also carries a moderate thunderstorm risk to Toowoomba and the Darling Downs. This region is ground zero for storm initiation. Severe thunderstorms are most likely to first develop in this area on Thursday around midday to early afternoon. The elevated terrain acts as a trigger, and with dew points expected to reach 22 to 24 degrees Celsius, the atmosphere will be extremely unstable. Hail up to 5 centimetres, destructive wind gusts and heavy rain are all possible. Multiple storm cells could affect this region through Thursday afternoon. Sunshine Coast. Similar timing to Brisbane, with severe storms possible from mid to late afternoon on Thursday, likely arriving slightly later between 3 and 6 in the afternoon. The Sunshine Coast hinterland is particularly vulnerable to heavy rainfall, with steep terrain funneling water quickly into creeks and rivers. Flash flooding could occur with little warning. Now here is the plot twist that changes the picture for next week, and most weather updates are not covering this yet. Do not miss this. The same upper-level trough that is driving these severe thunderstorms is expected to deepen further over the weekend. Global forecast models are showing a second significant rain event developing for southeast Queensland early next week, potentially Monday through Wednesday. This could bring widespread falls of another 50 to 100 millimetres on top of whatever falls this week. For catchments that are already saturated, this creates a compounding flood risk. River levels in the Brisbane, Bremer and Logan catchments could respond quickly to any additional rainfall. For those of you in Sydney, you might be thinking you are in the clear. Not so fast. That deepening trough is expected to extend its influence into northern New South Wales by the weekend. The Hunter Valley, Mid-North Coast and Northern Rivers regions should prepare for increased thunderstorm activity from Saturday, with the risk of heavy rainfall increasing through Sunday and into Monday. Falls of 40 to 80 millimetres are possible across these regions. Melbourne and Victoria, you have a different scenario playing out. A cool change is forecast to push through on Friday, bringing a brief period of showers and a temperature drop of around 8 to 10 degrees. However, ahead of that change on Thursday, temperatures in Melbourne could reach 37 to 39 degrees Celsius. The combination of extreme heat followed by a sharp cool change creates its own risks. So keep an eye on fire weather warnings for Thursday. Adelaide and South Australia, a similar pattern applies. Extreme heat is building through Thursday, with temperatures forecast to reach 40 to 42 degrees Celsius in parts of the Adelaide Plains. A trough passage Friday will bring some relief, but the heat returns early next week. If you have elderly neighbours or family members, now is the time to check on them. Perth and Western Australia. The tropics are relatively quiet for you at the moment, but a building high-pressure system over the Bight is keeping temperatures elevated. Perth is looking at mid to high 30s through the weekend, with sea breezes providing the only real relief. No significant storm threats for the West Coast this week, but that does not mean you should switch off. The Indian Ocean dipole is neutral right now and conditions could shift later in the month. Darwin and the top end, the monsoon is active and delivering regular afternoon thunderstorms. Rainfall this week is expected to be close to average for February, with daily totals of 20 to 40 millimetres across the Greater Darwin area. The monsoon trough is positioned over the top end, and there are no signs of it breaking down anytime soon. Keep your wet season routines going. Canberra, you are sitting in a transition zone. Thursday will be hot, potentially reaching 36 to 38 degrees before a southerly change brings cooler air on Friday. There is a moderate chance of thunderstorms on Thursday afternoon as the trough passes through. After Friday, conditions settle into a more comfortable mid-20s pattern for the weekend. If you are heading outdoors in the ranges, carry rain gear just in case. Hobart and Tasmania, you remain the cool corner of the country. Expect mild conditions through the week with daytime highs around 22 to 25 degrees. A front on Saturday could bring some showers to the west coast, but nothing significant. Now let me bring this back to the big picture, because understanding why this is happening helps you prepare better. Australia is currently in a La Niña influenced pattern. The ocean temperatures across the Western Pacific are running above average, and the monsoon trough is more active than usual for early February. This means moisture feeds into the Australian continent are turbocharged. Every storm system has more water vapour to work with, which means heavier rain, more intense thunderstorms, and a higher risk of tropical cyclone development. We have already seen above average tropical activity in the Australian region this season, and the peak of cyclone season runs from February through March. There is still plenty of time for more systems to develop. If you are in any of the affected areas, here is your practical checklist, and I strongly recommend you do these things today rather than waiting until the rain starts. First, clear your gutters and downpipes now before the rain arrives. Blocked drains are the number one cause of localised flooding in residential areas. Second, move vehicles under cover if possible, especially in southeast Queensland where large hail is forecast. A single hailstorm can cause thousands of dollars in panel damage in minutes. Third, charge your devices and have a battery-powered radio ready in case of power outages. In past severe storm events across Queensland, some areas have lost power for up to 48 hours. Fourth, know your local flood maps and evacuation routes, especially if you live near a creek or river. Your local council website has this information and it takes 5 minutes to check. Fifth, if you are in the tropical cyclone watch zone, secure loose outdoor items and have your emergency kit ready with water, non-perishable food, medications and important documents in a waterproof bag. Sixth, if you have pets or livestock, make arrangements now. Do not wait until conditions deteriorate to figure out where your animals will shelter. One more thing that could change everything. The next model update drops overnight tonight, and if the tropical low shifts its track even 50 kilometres further south, Townsville moves from heavy rain into potentially destructive cyclone conditions. That is how tight the margins are right now. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now telling me which city or town you are in, and I will make sure future updates include specific forecasts for your area. The more I know about where you are watching from, the more targeted and useful I can make these updates for you. And here is what is coming next. In my next update, I am going to reveal what the long-range models are projecting for the rest of February and into March. There are some signals in the data that suggest this active pattern is far from over, and one model is showing a potential second tropical system forming in the Coral Sea within the next 2 weeks. You will not want to miss that breakdown. Make sure you are ready for the next update, because the information in it could be the difference between being caught off guard and being fully prepared. Remember, the weather does not care about your schedule, but you can absolutely control how ready you are for it. Stay safe out there.